welcome back to another live stream here on my channel, David Ram's channel. Today we're going to be doing, yet again, one of our, well, yet again, but it's always different, isn't it? I mean, I say yet again like as if it's the same. You never know what we're going to get in these live streams. So we're doing another vertical stream today, and we're going to see, as always, if we can meet some interesting people, have some interesting discussions, answer some questions about veganism, animals, and ethics and people's life choices, and see if we can't open some minds today and change some people's minds and change some people's hearts, and see if people can do better for animals, see if we can get that out here today. So let's just find out what's going on. Donald Trump's in the chat. We got off to a good start. Donald Trump says, Habibi, change it to 5 o'clock, my food comes in an hour. Well, you can just hang out until your food arrives, bro. No worries, we're all good. So yeah, I'm a vegan, for those who don't know, but I see everyone in here. 86% of you guys here are vegan, so actually that's pretty interesting how there's 12% people here are not vegan. That's very interesting. Already off the bat, we've got some people in here who are not vegan. Well, welcome. You're very welcome here. Please stick around. I'm a vegan. I've been vegan for about 14, 15 years now, and I was born and raised vegetarian too. And for those that really care about this kind of thing, I'm 6'2", which is about 188 centimeters tall, which is pretty tall. And I'm currently sitting at 90 kilos. So that's after a lifetime of not eating meat, and it's after about 14, 15 years of being vegan. So yeah, questions, shoot them over. Let's talk about some vegan stuff. That's what we're here for. So see, only 8% of you currently aren't vegan. So I guess we'll have to hang out and see, wait for those people to arrive. But in the meantime, we can have a little chat. How's everyone doing? Tell me how long you guys have been vegan. That's a good idea, actually. Arabimi, 5 years of veganism. Well done, man. That's sweet. Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Legend. What about everybody else? How long have people been vegan here? Let me know in the chat, and we can have a little chitty chat before people start coming in. Again, we got 12% of people are not vegan. Welcome, guys. Please stick around. We're going to be getting into it later. Usually, by the way, just to give you an idea of how these things go, at the start, things take it a little slow. We usually start off a little bit slow, but then the hordes of trolls start coming in. But usually about 30 minutes, 40 minutes in, the trolls begin to flock into the chat. Then we get some interesting conversations. Sometimes they get more calm and they ask some questions and they're more serious. Sometimes they just troll just non-stop. So we see what we get today. It's always interesting. Nice. JP and Julia, 5 years vegan, legends. 11 to 12 years for KD, awesome, nice. Regenerative Designs Australia, 12 years, legend. 5 for Peggy Johnson, awesome. 2.5, 3 years for Jessica. Nice, guys, nice. Love it. Good to have you guys all here, hanging out, ready for some fireworks, I'm sure. There's usually drama in these streams. Just gotta wait and see. I can see we're filling up with more people who aren't vegan, which is good, guys. I'm glad you guys are here. You guys who've clicked not vegan, stick around, ask some questions. When you're going to ask a question, guys, if you want me to make sure I answer it, you can put my name in the chat and it will pop up orange for me. If you appreciate my work and you support my work and you want to take it a step further, you can click the link in the pinned comment, or you can super chat me. That way you actually can help financially support me and become a supporter of the channel. And I see your comment as well. So it's a double whammy there. It's a little bit better for me and for you. It's a guaranteed response if you do that. So keep that in mind, guys. 6 months, Leon. Awesome. Welcome to Team Vegan. 6 months in, I hope you're doing good with it. How's it gone? You figured stuff out? You got the food you like? Done all the arguments with the family? Because the family always wants to argue with you when you first go vegan. That's what I'm being told by a lot of new vegans these days. It's the first thing they have to deal with is the fan bam, unfortunately. Must be quite frustrating. Well, I know it's frustrating for you guys, but yeah, keep it up. 3 decades vegan from L. That's awesome. Amazing. L. Love that. 3 decades. Wow. 30 years ago. What was going on 30 years ago for vegans? It must have been a tough world for vegans 30 years ago without all the nice things that we have now. I mean, obviously, nothing's tougher than what the animals go through. So, of course, it was never that tough. But still, inconvenient for sure back then, huh? Oh, guys, we've got our first troll. So let's engage with our first troll from Gamer Boy Golf. You see, we've had Gamer Boys here before, people with the username Gamer Boy, but we've not had a golf one yet. So he says, I love eating meat. Beacon is my fave. Brilliant, brilliant. Beacon. So what do you mean by beacon? Are you talking about like a homing beacon? Is that what you mean? Like, or like beacon, they flash, don't they? Like lights that flash so that people can find them. Like if you're out at sea and you get stuck, you put a beacon out, right? Is that what your beacon's your favorite? I mean, if you're into like maritime, sea stuff like that, hey, everyone's got to have a hobby. I'm not really into the ships and the oceans and stuff like that. It's not really my thing. But yeah, if you love beacons, then all good, mate, all good. For real though, Gamer Boy Golf says, I love eating meat. Well, yeah, so do vegans. Vegans love eating meat too. The difference is, though, the meat that vegans eat with the flavors and the texture and all the things that we like in our meat doesn't come from an animal's body, because meat doesn't need to come from an animal, right? Because you got coconut meat, you get the flesh of different fruits. This word we use for lots of things. And actually, the origin of the word meat is actually just a solid food thing. It used to mean everything. So bread would have been called meat, for example, many years ago, many years ago. So yeah, we make meat type things. So we make meat from seitan, meat from gluten, meat from tofu, or meat from mushrooms. Lots of different options these days. Meat from soy protein, and then you flavor it, make it taste however you want. You can make a sausage out of it, make a burger out of it. People making steaks. So yeah, we like meat too, but you like meat, we like meat. Your meat is hurting an animal. Ours isn't hurting an animal. Your meat means a farmer breeds an animal and then hurts them and then takes them to a slaughterhouse and somebody does horrible things to them. Our meat, it's grown in a field and then processed and then boom. So a little bit different. And obviously, if you get the choice between doing that to an animal and eating a plant-based thing, I don't understand why anybody would choose to eat the animal. Well, I guess it's habit, of course. There's a lot of habit in the psychology of it, the peer pressure from everybody around you. But at the end of the day, if you could have the choice between, hey, this thing came from a field where it was plucked out and then grown and it's a plant, right? Or this thing came from violently stabbing an animal. Most people, if they had this and this, they would choose the thing that didn't come from stabbing the animal, right? But when it comes to meat and society and the way people eat and live, because it's the norm to stab animals, people can't get past that. They feel excluded. If I don't do that, everyone else is doing that, so I should do that too, and these things. And so I get it's complicated, but it is worth doing. It's worth standing up and saying, actually, no, I know that everybody else is doing it, but hey, I don't want to do that anymore, because I actually don't think animals deserve that kind of violence, So give that a thought. Give that a thought, Gamer Boy Golf. And you're welcome to stick around, even though you were trolling. As I said, trolls are welcome to stick around. You can ask another... Well, you didn't ask a question, but you can ask another question if you like. You can ask a question. Ultimate Fortnite Gamer is saying, hello, David. I don't know if you'll remember me, but I was here for the last stream and you answered my questions and I spoke to Annie Rams. Yeah, I remember you. I remember your username. I don't remember exactly what we discussed, but I remember you were here, of course. Yeah. Yeah, welcome back. Deadly Bullet says, are you against vegetarians? Well, I'm not against vegetarians. I'm not against meat eaters. The thing is, it's not the people that I'm against. It's not the people that I am like, oh, you're a terrible person, because they might not be a terrible person. So, no, I'm not against vegetarians, but I am against these industries, the egg industry and the milk industry, the dairy industry. And unfortunately, vegetarians still pay these people to do all these horrible things to these animals. Because in the dairy industry, they're doing unspeakable things to cows. There's horrible things to cows. Shoving their arms inside them, injecting them with all sorts of chemicals, injecting them with semen, forcefully, taking their babies away from them, killing their babies and killing them. The dairy industry is horrible. And then the egg industry it's a lot of the same, mate. It's a lot of the same. They're killing the babies that don't produce eggs, the males. And then the ones that do produce eggs, they kill them eventually too. And then they do all sorts of horrible things to these chickens. Also, there's leather. There's all these other things that vegetarians might support. They might be wearing the skin of an animal. It was ripped off an animal. Maybe they wear fur. Maybe they go to the zoo and pay some sissy animals in cages, basically an animal prison. There's lots of things a vegetarian would do that I'm against. I'm against what they do, right? I would try to convince the vegetarians that please stop funding all of these horrible things and please join us and just, you don't need to call yourself a vegan. I don't care what you call yourself. Just stop funding all of this. Please remove your money from these horrible places. That's what I would say to vegetarians. But no, I'm not against vegetarians. I'm not against meat eaters. I'm against what they do. People can change, right? You know, good people do bad things, right? And that good people can change their minds and stop doing the bad things once they realize they're bad things. So I want to try and help people change. I want to convince people to change because I believe most people are good inside, actually. I think most people have a pretty good compass inside them to tell them what's right and wrong. The problem is everybody's doing the wrong thing, so the compass gets skewed off and it thinks something is right when it's not. You know, this is what we're fighting against. This is what we're trying to wake people up a little bit. You know. Cheers for the question. Oh yeah, Ultimate Fortnite Gamer is saying, last time I asked you if you wanted meat eaters to feel guilt about eating meat. Yeah, I remember now. We went through that before. And you followed up with another question. My first question is, do you believe that all meat eaters have blood on their nads? I suppose you're trying to type hands there, right? The idea of, oh, they all have blood on their hands. And this is just, it's, when a vegan says that, or actually when anyone says that, if they're doing a protest or whatever it is, it's a visual cue. It's something just to make people think. It's just something to shock. It's not like a literal description, like, oh, they have blood on their hands. So no, I wouldn't say that myself necessarily, not at this point. I don't think it's very useful to say that, oh, you have blood on your hands. I don't think it convinces people necessarily, or I don't know. I don't feel like it's very convincing myself. What I would say is, though, when you know that you're supporting the meat industry, you're funding the meat industry, for example, you're paying a farmer, you say, hey, here's some money. I want you to go get that animal. I want you to stab them and I want you to chop them up and I want you to give them to me, right? Once you realize that and you realize there's a different way that you can choose, then at that point, you are knowingly responsible for this. Now, before that point, maybe you hadn't thought about it. And you can't really say to somebody, hey, you know, you just can't just go over to somebody and say, this is you. Blah, blah, blah. It's not how it works. But once somebody does know, then you can say, hey, listen, now you know, you should act on this, right? And if you don't act on this, then you're responsible for it. Now you know you're responsible. Before you didn't know, okay, you didn't know. Now you do know. So I would say that, and I've said that to many meat eaters, that every day you keep on paying for these products is another day that you're funding the things you've just told me you're against. Because a lot of meat eaters will watch the screen and they'll go, I'm against this. I'm against all of this violence to animals. And then they say, but I don't want to go vegan. So you got to say, well, okay, that all that violence, you are paying for all that violence because your money, you're not just paying for it indirectly. Your money, you're saying, I want you to keep doing it. Every time you hand over your money, you're saying, please keep doing that violence to animals. That is exactly what I want to pay for. So you need to remove your money if you're against the violence. That's as simple as it is. Ellie May is asking, what should I do? My partner and I are vegan, but he eats meat during psychotic episodes and I don't know how to stop him. But I get you can't advise on psych conditions, but am I doing enough? Ellie, I can't advise. You're right. I mean, that's a situation that it's not for... Look, I can offer you support and just tell you some things to try and help you through it, but I can't tell you how to deal with that, unfortunately, because I don't know. I'm not an expert or a professional in terms of, psych stuff, mental health. All I can say is, look, you do what you can for yourself and you do what you can for him. And you just got to... I suppose get some advice from an experienced professional on what they think you should do and how they think you should deal with this, and try and maybe have some impact in different ways also. So you could also go out and join We the Free, which is an activism group. You could go out and join the Safe Animal Save. You could another activism group. You could work with Peter. You could do some online stuff. You know, there are many ways that you can make a big impact. So if it turns out that you can't actually help your partner in this way, well, that's one person. And I know it upsets you, but that's one person. That one individual, he's not going to, the likelihood of him him being vegan, changing the whole world is very slim. So yeah, of course it's important that he's vegan, but I wouldn't kick yourself over it. I would instead help him when you can help him and focus your efforts elsewhere so you can have a large impact, despite this being the case, right? So I hope that you would, hope that helps you to consider that. I guess it doesn't help you necessarily personally, but in terms of helping animals, getting out there and doing extra work and as well might help you feel a little bit better about the situation at home. That's what a lot of people do who are vegan, live with non-vegans. They go and do activism and try and help in other ways to help deal with the situation they have at home, right? So I hope that helps you. Thanks for asking the question, and apologies if that wasn't a good enough answer for you. It's a difficult topic to navigate. I hope you appreciate that. Jake the Legend's asking, why do you want to help animals? It's a good question, Jake. Why do I want to help animals? A couple reasons. So first off, let's just start with the absolute basics, Jake. So animals, even though people might tell you otherwise, they have all the things that we value each other for. So you don't value another human just because they're a human. You wouldn't hurt another human because they feel pain like you feel pain. You know that they have a family like you have a family. You know that they would be scared and afraid, and you would never want to put someone through that kind of suffering and cruelty. You wouldn't want that. Even if, they did nothing wrong. But even if they had done something wrong, a lot of people would still say, okay, they probably deserve to be, hurt, but I still don't want to hurt them because it feels, we don't like to do that to each other because we have something called empathy, which means when you look at someone, you can feel what they feel and you imagine what it must be like, so you act accordingly. So you don't go around punching people, you don't go around stabbing people or anything like that because of this empathy, because you know that you wouldn't want that to happen to you, right? So animals have the same. They're also they feel pain, psychological and physical. They also have families that they protect, and they also have extreme fear, the same way that you would feel fear, in the same way that, an animal in your home, for example, a dog or a cat, you know that they have all these things. Actually, most people look at their dogs and they see a lot of themselves in the dog. They say, oh, my dog's really cool, he's got a personality, I gave him a name and I love him and he's part of the family, he's like a member of our family. And when the dog dies, people are really absolutely distraught, almost as distraught as if they'd lost a human family member, right? So we know this about animals. Now, the way that people feel about these dogs in the home is strong, and because they see the person in the dog and the personality. All of the animals, cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, all these other farmed animals that are killed for meat, dairy, eggs, and used and abused, and all these things, leather and fur, bullfighting, all the different types of ways that all of these animals also have individual personalities. All of them feel pain, all of them have psychological pain and fear, and all of them have families too. And they all care for their young and care for their families too. Now, when we establish all of that okay, this is reality, when you realize what's happening to them, what we do to them, how we treat them, how we farmers are breeding them and then keeping them in captivity. They live in their own urine, their own feces, diseased, with injuries. They fight with each other because there's thousands of them in a small place, and then they're being used and abused for the milk and the eggs, and then they're all sent to slaughterhouses, and then someone will do these horrible things to them in slaughterhouses, like gassing them or electrocuting them and slashing their throats open. It's like a horror story. It's just unbelievable. And each one of these animals, remember, has the same personality, the same individual personality, right? The capacity for it as this dog in your home that you care for. So that's why it is by far the biggest, most disgraceful injustice that we are doing on this planet is what we do to the other animals. It is phenomenal. There is nothing else that going on in the human world that comes close to what we do to animals in the animal world and in the farming world especially. Nothing comes close to it. We're talking 80 billion plus. 80 billion plus animals killed per year, every single year. It's phenomenal. And that's not even including the fish. It brings it up to trillions when you include the fish. And we're not even talking about the horrors of the dairy and egg industries here and what they do before killing them. It is next level, just phenomenal. Someone's making a comparison to the I can't say it, YouTube might get annoyed, but the World War II, the word that begins with H and ends with Ost, or cost, and they're saying that as a comparison. So that was 6 million. That was 6 million. This is 80 billion per year. Every year, 80 billion. So again, no, there is nothing that comes anywhere near, actually. You can take all the world wars and all of human casualties and human death in the world wars. It doesn't come anywhere near how many animals that we're doing this to per year. 80 billion. So that's why, mate. That's why, well, I explained why I care, which is the beginning part, explaining why animals deserve to be cared for, and then I explain why I do what I do, because the scale that we're at and what we do to them and the way that it's normalized is just unbelievable. It's almost, people see it as an essential part of daily life. That's how normalized this is. Doing all this violence to animals, specific animals. People are happy with violence to pigs, cows, chickens, and these other animals, but they will rip your head off if they see you being violent to a dog. This is the society that we're in. This is what we've created. It doesn't make any bloody sense. And this is what I'm devoting my life to trying to undo. I want people to see the cow, the pig, and the chicken the same way they see the dog, and say, they would move mountains to save a dog. They would beat somebody up to save a dog. But then they'll just pay somebody else to go and stab a cow. It doesn't make any sense. The cow and the dog, they both have the same reasons that you care for the dog are the reasons you should care for the cow. They both have feelings. They both feel pain and suffer and feel fear and have families and don't want to die. And that's the reason you defend the dog. Why not the cow as well? So it looks like here we got about 40%. 40% of people here are not vegan. Guys, you are totally welcome here to ask any questions and come and hang out. You can just watch and listen if you want. I'm cool with it. You don't have to ask questions. I see there are trolls in here. The trolls are also welcome, honestly. If you want to troll, I would recommend you try and ask some questions though, because that makes it all more interesting. See, trolling doesn't really help anything, and it's kind of boring for people as well. So if you want to troll, okay, fine. You could just ask questions though, and it would be more interesting for everybody. So up to you. Gumball saying, are you saying that animals and cattle are equal to humans, which is simply wrong? No, I would be wrong if I said animals and cattle are equal to humans. Yeah, I would be wrong. No, they're not equal to humans. For example, we can get driver's licenses and buy a house, and we have lots of different rights to do different things. You wouldn't give a chicken a driving license. So no, of course we're not equal, right? But we don't need to be equal to them to say that actually, well, we are the same in the way that, okay, I don't want pain. Do you want pain? No. I don't want to suffer. They don't want to suffer. I'm scared sometimes. They're scared. And I have a family I care about. They have a family they care about. So, okay, that's all I need to know. I need to know that, and then I'm not going to hurt you then. That's simple. That's it, really. Don't need to be equal to somebody else to not hurt them, right? There are some humans that you're not equal to. In many ways, like, somebody might be more intelligent. Somebody might be better looking or more muscular than you. So you wouldn't be equal to them in terms of the looks or the muscles or the strength or whatever. But then the stronger person can't come and beat you up just because you're not equal in strength. You see what I'm getting at? So yeah, of course, that we're all different and we're all unequal in different ways, but none of this is a good reason to hurt each other, is it? Cheers for the question, mate. Appreciate that. Will you support meat and dairy products produced in a lab? Deadly Bullet's asking. Well, look, I mean, for me personally, I probably won't eat them because I've spent most of my life now not eating animal products, and so I'm not really interested in animal products necessarily, but would I support them? I'm not against them, because look, if these lab products make it so that there's no longer slaughterhouses, if they can just literally make burgers and whatever, and they can just make them in some factory without animals, like all you're looking at now, right? So right now you've got a factory that kills animals. And it's full of blood and guts. It's full of urine and feces and screaming, pain, fear, violence, right? Now, if you could just take all of that away and all you've got left is the factory, but it's still making meat, well, that's lab meat. Yes, of course that's better. If you don't think that's better, you're saying, well, if we could only just throw in some blood and some feces and some guts and some intestines and some animals screaming in pain and fear and violence, oh, I'll be happy if we throw that in. Well, that doesn't make sense. You want to take that out, right? Well, that's what lab meat can do. It can the same factories, just without all of that, without the animals, just using cells, right? I don't think that's a bad thing. Even if the footage you show is the truth, you can still psychologically damage a child by showing them such graphic content. This is one reason why I do not like Joey. I don't know what you're referring to there, but at the end of the day, mate, if someone's out on the street, if a kid's out on the street alone, that's the parent's problem. The world is not, it's not sugar-coated. You never know what you're going to bump into, right? I'm sorry, but like, if you're a parent, if I'm a parent, if I have a kid, and I don't want my kid to see things, then it's my responsibility to put some block on their phone and to not let them go out and about and alone until they're old enough to see these types of things. So I don't know what you're referring to with Joey, but as far as I know, he's not just running around trying to show footage to kids. Kids come over to him, you see. And for me, yeah, I mean, I'm the same. You know, if a kid's walking around without their parents, it's their parents' fault. And at the end of the day, the footage is food production. Also, you got to consider that. So there's also the argument that, listen, if the production of your food is so shocking it can give you psychological trauma, it's probably a sign that that's not something we should be doing, is it? You know what I'm saying, man? So I understand your concern. And honestly, actually, with one of our protests that we do, we go out and we show people videos. We do have a special kids video that is specifically not graphic for kids. So we have made some exceptions. It's just sometimes if you have an open screen and people are walking by and you've got a TV screen or something showing people, that's up to the parents to control if the kid sees it or not. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, good question. Appreciate it. And I hope that somewhat kind of answers you there. I've been vegan for 6 years, but recently I've been struggling with my health, not feeling as good. I was wondering if there are any supplements you take to keep optimal health. JD, so people, when people go vegan, they often, whenever they have like a bad health spat or something wrong, they often jump immediately to thinking that, oh, it must be the plant-based diet. It's not always the case. Before you went vegan, you had times where you felt bad, right? And what did you do then? So you would look at lots of things. Okay, am I drinking enough water? Am I getting enough sleep? Have I been going to the gym? Have I been spending too long on social media? Have I got some stress things in my life right now? Am I a recent breakup? Or have I got something big coming up that's making me nervous? Do I enjoy my work or do I hate my work? All these different things. Look for things that recently changed. Is there anything that recently changed that's making me feel like this? Have I been eating more or less of something? So you can start looking into all these different things. I wouldn't put it down to like, oh, it just must be the plant-based diet, because it most likely isn't the plant-based diet that's doing it. It could be you're not eating enough calories, which can happen on any diet. It could be that you're not eating enough of a certain type of food, which again can happen on any diet. So again, don't immediately jump to, oh, it must be because I'm vegan, because that's just not normally the case. So punch your information into Chronometer, which is a totally free app. What you're eating every day, pop it into there. You might be low on calories. Dude, I'll tell you something, for me, like I always considered myself to be a hard gainer, which means I couldn't put weight on very easily for a very long time. I sat at around 70 kilos for most of my life, and that's pretty light considering I'm 6'2". And I could never put weight on. And I thought, oh, it's just my build. It's just my build. Oh, I'm just like a skinny build. And I put my stuff into Chronometer like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I found out that my average calorie intake was like 15 to 1800 calories. What the hell was I doing? I thought I was eating loads. I was not eating loads. I don't have a big appetite, right? Now I'm eating 2500 to 3000. Immediately, I put 20 kilos on. And we're talking mostly muscle, some fat, but mostly muscle. So we don't really know what we're eating every day. We think we're eating the right things. We think we got the right nutrients. We think we got the good sleep, and we think we're drinking enough water, and we think that everything's fine. But you gotta actually pay attention and think, am I drinking enough water? Am I getting enough calories? Am I sleeping enough? You know, is my bedroom too light? Is there too much light coming in? Is there some noise that's keeping me awake or waking me up in the middle of the night? Am I stressed? These are things you got to think about when you start feeling bad, right? So that's tips to everybody in here, vegan or not. These are all tips for all people to think about. If you feel bad, this is how you find out what's going on. I hope that helps you guys. Cheers for the question. Nukanin says, hey man, you got something on your head. Yeah, it's just the microphone. Just the microphone. It just makes it easy so I can talk while moving my head around and you guys can hear me nice and clear. You know what I'm saying? Say, are plants living things like any other oxygen-breathing organism? They're living things, but they're not like every other organism. No, because plants don't have brains or central nervous systems, right? So they don't feel pain or have any kind of subjective experience. They're not self-aware. They don't fear or have pain or suffering or think or anything like that. So they're very different from all the other beings. They're very different from animals, which is why we eat plants and not animals. Because if you can choose, why would you choose the animals when you can eat the plants? All right, what have we got? Oh yeah, and plants don't breathe, obviously. Hexproof Anarchist, cheers for that. Yeah, they don't breathe because they don't have lungs. Important distinction. Nice one. What else we got, guys? I see actually right now, wow. We've got 42% of you guys are not vegan. So I want to say welcome to all the people who are not vegan. Also welcome the vegans too, legends. Welcome to everybody who's not vegan. And not vegans, people, meat eaters, you guys, stick around, hang out, ask some questions. Watch the responses to questions. You are so welcome here. I'm a vegan. I've been vegan for about 14, 15 years. I was born and raised a vegetarian, so I've never eaten meat. And for those who care about these kinds of things, I'm 6'2", and I weigh about 90 kilos right now. Okay, so there you go. Sometimes people ask that, and I think people wonder that when they meet somebody who's been a vegetarian for their whole life and then vegan for 14, 15 years, they're looking at you like, yeah, okay, how tall are you? And how much do you weigh then? You must be, you know, no. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right because, hey, it's possible, believe it or not. You can be perfectly healthy, tall, muscular. Well, tall is genetic, I suppose. But anyway, if you have the right genetics to be tall, you can get tall eating plant-based. You don't need to have meat and dairy and eggs to grow when you're in the growing phase. You just need the nutrients, and I got them, and I'm good. Fury Brenton says he's 6'3" and 107 kilos. Nice, Fury. Do you train, or is that chubby 6'3", or are you like a built 6'3"? Also, are you a vegan, by the way? Didn't say if you're a vegan or not. We got a super chat from a Canadian Psycho Gamers. A lot of gamers in here. Who says, I've seen it all. I still eat meat. It's a weird thing to boast about, bro. And basically all you're saying there is, I support violence because I like how it tastes. It's pretty much what you're saying. Which, you know, I guess you're trying to be edgy and cool as like a gamer. And, you know, I get it. But it's not really a flex. I mean, to be honest with you, mate, it's not a very nice thing to admit. But anyway, listen, your money, fortunately for you, for me and you, your money will go into working to help animals. So if you want to keep on boasting about that in the super chats, keep on sending them through. Totally fine by me, mate. Appreciate it. I saw Fury says he's built and a vegan. Nice, Fury. You sound with a name like Fury and a build like that, you're probably a pretty scary guy. 6'3", 107 kilos? Something like that. 107 kilos, 6'3" vegan. We need to get this guy out on the streets with us. Ted Bundy's asking, how do you justify killing all the small animals and creatures when they spray your vegetables to protect them? Well, I mean, Ted Bundy, you of all people should not be concerned with small animals and small creatures. I mean, Ted Bundy. But yeah, to answer your question, mate, you're asking that question as somebody who literally pays farmers to breed animals and specifically kill them. So it's hard to take you seriously as a non-vegan asking that question because you personally don't care about these small animals and small creatures, right? Otherwise, you would be a vegan asking me that question. Say, hey, as vegans, how do we figure this out? What can we do, right? So, but anyway, I'll ask and I'll pretend you're a vegan. So, hey, Ted Bundy, fellow vegan, how do we figure this out? Because yeah, small animals do get harmed in vegetable and crop production. What do we do about that as vegans, right? Well, first off, they're not our vegetables. Vegans make up less than 1% of the population. Actually, the rest of the people are eating vegetables more than vegans. So it's actually a worldwide population problem that we need to fix. The problem is people are most likely not willing to change and try and help with this because they don't care about these small animals the same way they don't care about the pigs, the cows, the sheep, etc. So what we've got to do before we can fix this crop production problem, we've got to focus on getting the world to agree that, hey, animal agriculture is terrible. We need to stop doing this to these animals. Then we can go, hey, look, crop production needs to be improved too. But we're never going to improve crop production before we sort out animal agriculture, before we stop people from breeding pigs, cows, chickens in the billions and then stabbing them, okay? Because the crop production, the crop protection, all of this, plants can be grown without all of that. They can be grown without violence to animals. Meat, dairy, eggs, and all the animal products cannot be made currently without animal violence. In the future, there'll be lab meat and stuff, but for now, they can't be made without violence to animals. So that's the situation we're in. It's a very imperfect world that vegans have to try and live in, and we've got to be strategic with what we do. You can't change crop production. It's not going to happen before animal production changes. You follow me? So as much as I would love to switch my focus and say, look, let's focus on the crop farmers because I don't like how they grow crops, it would be a pointless task while people are happy to pay for a pig to be stabbed in the throat, right? So cheers for that question, Ted Bundy, fellow vegan. It's a good topic that vegans should absolutely be thinking about. Thank you, Marcos, for the $20 donation. Appreciate it, mate. He says, thank you, vegan activists. Thank you, Marcos. What a hero. What a legend. Cheers. Appreciate it. Ted Bundy, the vegan, is saying, you can say you're a murderer for eating meat while your plants are protected by killing animals. No, they're not. Ted, as vegans, mate, remember I told you they're not our plants. You see, most of the people who are eating vegetables are not vegan. So these industries, again, they're non-vegan industries. But you see, we either fund that one or we die. You see what I'm saying? And dying isn't an option for us as vegans. We're not going to let ourselves starve to death. We have to eat something. So we have to support the crop industry and the plants and the vegetables, right? We have to buy those. But you see, we don't have to pay people to literally stab pigs and cows and chickens, but we do have to pay for vegetables. Now, we don't want anybody in the vegetable industries to hurt animals, and a lot of them don't, and some of them do, though, right? When you eat a tomato, it's not a guarantee that some animal was hurt, but when you're eating a piece of steak or some cheese or an egg, it is 100% that the animal was hurt. So in this world where we have to eat something, we have to support some kind of bloody industry, you choose the crop one as vegans, right? Because again, we can't starve to death. You know what I'm saying, mate? But no, I appreciate as a vegan, Ted Bundy, that you're bringing this topic up, and you know, all good. Dude Wars says, your videos have sparked converting me. Then I watched Pigspiracy and was fully converted. Do you mean Pignorant, Dude Wars? That's awesome. If that's true, man, that's awesome. I really appreciate you putting the time into this and listening to what we talk about here, listening to what I've been saying, and putting it into practice. It's amazing. And guys, like, when you're listening to me, please do your own research. Go out of here and go watch documentaries like Pignorant or Dominion, which is right here on YouTube, actually, Dominion, and learn more, because there's only so much I can do in our short time together, and you guys can get out there and you can do more. Oh my god, Ted Bundy the vegan is really not doing so good right now. He's saying the argument is terrible because both industries murder animals. In the meat industry, they don't just throw away the small animals like trash when they're killed. Oh, Ted Bundy. The meat industry literally creates animals to then kill them. The crop industry is trying to stop animals from eating the crops. Very different industries with very different goals. The goal of the crop industry is to grow crops and feed people vegetables. The goal of the meat industry is to enact insane violence on animals and kill them so they can take parts of their bodies and sell them to people. Again, I'll say it one more time before we move on. Vegan to vegan, bro, you need to think about this. You need to fund one of them, fund the one that can be reformed, and you can grow vegetables without hurting animals. Currently, it's not the case because it's a non-vegan world and needs to be improved. But that doesn't mean you get to fund all of the direct, literally paying people to say, hey, I don't want you to grow a vegetable. I want you to kill an animal with my money. That's what you do when you vote for meat, dairy, eggs, and all animal products. And that's the last time I'm going to repeat the same thing. Vegan Ted Bundy. Anything else that we've got? Simply all you need to use. Oh wait, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys. Put my name in the chat, guys, and I will answer you. All right, I will answer you. Conman says, "Cry harder, vegan dipshits." Yeah, that's what's happening here. It's everyone's crying. No, what it actually is really happening is we're just having a conversation very calmly on a YouTube live stream, and you come in calling everyone dipshits. If anyone's crying, it's you, mate. Triggered. You come in hot and triggered. But hey, listen, you can calm down and ask a question and join the reasonable conversation if you want, or you can carry on being triggered by vegans and name calling and acting like we're the emotional ones. And you came in here calling people names, bro. If there's anything we know about who's the more calm one in a conversation, the one who resorts to name calling first is usually the one who's more emotional. Can we agree on that one, right? I don't think I've called anybody a name yet. I called somebody a vegan who wasn't a vegan. But have I called anyone names yet? Pizza Burger says, what is the point of eggs that won't hatch if not to eat? That's a good question, Pizza Burger. The thing is, mate, the eggs that you're talking about here, the ones that aren't fertilized, because when an egg is fertilized, there'll be a little baby chicken in there. But you're right, when they're not fertilized, then what's going to happen to them? Well, somebody may as well eat them. That's the point you're making, right? The problem is, mate, the egg industry itself, so they're breeding chickens, so they're breeding chickens. The boy chickens, they're killing after like a day, or not a day, a minute, possibly up to a day, but usually after a couple minutes, they kill them. They throw them into a massive blender, or they suffocate them, or they drown them, man. This is the egg industry. And then, when these female chickens have laid a lot of eggs, they're laying around upwards of 50, sometimes 100, sometimes 300 eggs a year. Okay, so it really hurts their bodies. They're only supposed to lay 12 a year, man. Really hurts their bodies. And then, when they get sick, when they get tired, when they get a bit older, they kill them. The farmers kill them, send them off to be killed. So what you're saying there is simplistic. Oh yeah, well the egg, we might as well eat the egg, but you got to look at everything around it. You got to look at what's happening to these poor animals. It's not just an egg, it's the chicken that made that egg, and how did that chicken come, and how many animals, how many baby boy chickens that they're killing, and just a terrible, terrible industry. And also all these chickens that lay the eggs, man, they spend their whole lives in these barns. It's full of disease and the dirt. They fall over and die on their faces because their bodies are so heavy. Just a disgraceful industry. Just a horrible, horrible. The egg companies are terrible. Look into it. Go on YouTube and put something like, why do vegans not eat eggs? And you'll see what's going on there, man. So, hope that answers your question, mate. Josiah, we just answered that question, buddy. You could scroll back in the stream and get the answer if you want, but don't think I'm going to go through that one again. Slimathy wants to know about if I support the that. I guess you guys can see that. We can't get into that here on YouTube simply because YouTube doesn't like it and will limit my video and stuff. And also, it's not really relevant. But I will say, I guess you're asking that because you don't support it. So what I will say is, for those watching, he's talking about... I need to think about a way to say it without triggering anything on YouTube. The thing that ends in shun, and it's something that women go and do when they have an unwanted problem. There you go. That deals with it, right? So if Slimathy, if you're against it, if you don't support it because you believe in the sanctity of life and that, you know, life is sacred, then, you know, fair play to you. But for you then to go out and kill animals, that doesn't make any sense. Because then if you think life is sacred, then why would you do that? And if you're going to go down the road of, yeah, but they're not human, then that's just an argument from genetics, DNA, right? Oh, you don't have the right genes, you don't have the right genetics, so I'm going to kill you. And, you know, other people who've made that argument in history have been pretty bad people. If you guys want to read between the lines to what I'm saying there, think about people in history who made that argument. They're born with the wrong genetics, so they have to go and take a shower, for example. You know, it's a bad argument. Not the same. Obviously, it's not the same situation, of course, but the logic is the same. You don't want to go down that road, so there you go. That's my answer to your question, kind of. It's more kind of preempting where you were going to go, though, I guess. You might get your answer about what I think from that answer anyway. There you go. I think we did it. I eat plants, but since your argument is that animals have pain and emotions, I'm saying plants too don't have it. Oh yeah, you're arguing with somebody else, Deadly Bullet. No worries, you can carry on doing that. What's going on? Is someone making the argument that killing plants and killing animals is the same in the chat? Is that what's going on right now? It's a funny. People always go to this as a defense mechanism, and you can understand why. It's because, look, at the end of the day, when you're faced with something that makes you feel really uncomfortable about the way you live because people are questioning it, the first thing you want to do is try to point out something wrong in them so that you can deal with this issue that you've got, because you feel bad. You feel like something's like, that's not right. I don't like feeling like this. How do I fix it? Well, if I attack what they do and try and point out that they do what I do and we're the same, then I can feel okay again. That's a natural reaction, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a natural reaction. It's a you can't say reactions are wrong necessarily. You can just try and train yourself out of having that reaction, and it's really difficult. You know, sometimes when someone says something to me, I still have some kind of reaction to that and other topics, and you got to be calm down and think. Wait a minute, whoa. Try and stop the defense mechanism and really think for a second. Am I just reacting here, or are they actually wrong? And you got to try and figure that out. In the case of people trying to say, well, plants and animals are the same, you are clearly wrong. You are clearly 100% wrong. There are many differences between plants and animals, and it's such an insult to even try and to everybody in the chat's intelligence to try and claim they're the same. I'm not even going to go through the ways that plants and animals are clearly different and that we should value animals' lives more than plants. I'm not even going to go into why that's the case. You already know why that's the case. And we're all insulting our own intelligence by pretending that they're the same as a reasonable argument, by pretending that that means anything, that someone thinks that. It means nothing. It's very silly. Okay? But at the end of the day, you know, it's silly. It's a defense mechanism, and you know, it doesn't deserve a lot of attention. All I would say to you is, if you're trying to say plants and animals are the same to try and argue with a vegan, take a deep breath, step back, have a think about what you're saying, and realize you definitely don't bloody mean it. You definitely don't stand by that. I know you don't. Canadian Psycho Gamers did another super chat and said, I'm not against vegan, I just like meat. Canadian Psycho Gamer, you can keep on, you know, with these super chats. I don't mind it at all. You're helping me work for animals with your money, so I appreciate that. I've already been through this earlier on in the stream about how vegans also like meat. We've gone through all of that. It's just that we eat meat that doesn't come from animals because we don't want to be violent to animals, whereas you are eating meat that does come from animals and you support violence to animals. This is the entirely different situation that we've got here. You're paying people specifically. You are telling them to go and do violence to animals when you're paying for meat. Vegans paying people for vegetables, and where we can make seitan and tofu, and we can make lots of things that are meaty, right? So, I mean, obviously, you if you want to choose the violence to animals, I can't stop you from doing that. I would appreciate it, and animals especially would appreciate it if you didn't. There's nothing I can do. I'm just going to try and convince you, and hope that one day you stop doing that, you know? That's it. Is this live? If this live is real, do the thug shake. I don't know what the thug shake is, mate. Behemoth says, stop kicking dogs with your LVL friend. Never. Nick Lyston says, imagine a serial killer who justifies his actions because his victims are plant farmers who murdered plants. Funny. Imagine standing there in court. Well, I mean, listen, people kill plants, right? It's just, how is it any different that I went off and killed the whole neighborhood's pet dogs? I mean, at the end of the day, animals and plants are the same, right? Yeah. I'm not sure that would stand up in court, and I'm glad it doesn't stand up in court. Oh, it's Deadly Bullet. Are you actually claiming that plants feel pain? Oh my god. Oh man. I try so hard in these streams to just, keep it together and be friendly, reasonable, kind. Try and, just be someone that people can come ask questions and we can have a conversation and I try. I think I will just flip on by when people make these comments in future, because they're not made from a serious place, are they? When someone's saying plants have pain and emotions and stuff like that, it's I think we just need to keep moving forward and just move past it. I just don't think they believe it. I think it's so silly. Not Lucid's asking, how'd you get enough iron? Multiple ways. You can get iron straight from food itself, so you get it from dark leafy greens, and a lot of legumes like lentils, chickpeas have iron. You can just pop, if you're too busy and you don't want to eat all that kind of stuff, you can just literally take an iron supplement if you want. Or you can do like protein shakes. Sometimes protein shakes and meal shakes have a lot of iron in them. There's lots of options for you to get iron in if you're, depending on how busy you are, depending on how lazy you are. I'm relatively lazy. I just do like a couple of I have some like shakes that have some iron in. Yeah, it depends on how busy or lazy you are. But if you're not lazy or busy, or too busy, you can make yourself more. I say too busy because look, even if you're busy, you can probably make the time to prepare all your meals and stuff like that, and you can do meal prep and things like that. But I think for me, it's just laziness, to be honest with you, why I go for the simple stuff. But yeah, it's just do a little Google on vegan sources of iron. You'll find tons of resources on that, additional to the ones I've mentioned here as well. Strange Harper's saying you have to kill a lot more plants for meat production, a lot, so that plants argument is just silly. You're right, Strange Harper. But yeah, it persists. People keep on saying it. David Bayless is asking, do you believe that every animal's life is worth the same value? I don't think it's a very useful question to ask if every animal's life is worth the same value. The only situation where you're ever going to need to answer that question is if you were in some crazy hypothetical or something, and someone goes, you've got a rabbit and a mouse and a baby. Which one of them? You have to kill one of them. Which one are you going to kill? And it's like, well, it doesn't... You're not going to be in that situation. So when you come to these situations, you'll figure out the best way through it and discuss whatever. Something similar to that. But yeah, I think it's a pretty unhelpful question. But I would say, yeah, I don't really know. It's not really a helpful question, as I said. All I care about, to be honest with you, I less care about whether the values of animals are all equal. I more care about the fact that animal agriculture exists and it is completely and totally unnecessary. That we can get all of our nutrients without animal agriculture. Yet we're doing, upwards of 60 billion animals killed a year, trillions of fish. I care about that. Whether chickens and pigs are equal is less of a concern to me, and something for a philosophical discussion, maybe some kind of podcast or something like that. But again, not something I would spend a lot of time thinking about, to be totally honest with you. But I appreciate the question. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I appreciate it's an interesting question. It's just not what I'm going to delve into in this stream. Oh, someone's asking, what do I think of mushrooms? I like mushrooms. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Be more specific and I'll give you a more specific answer. Leah's saying it's more like 90 billion killed now, I thought. Yeah, the number is between 60 to 90. There aren't exact figures, I don't think. But again, when you add fish into the equation, there is no exact figure because they measure fish in weight, not in numbers, because there's so many of them that they kill, which is just horrific when you think about it, isn't it? They're measuring the amount of fish that they're killing in weight. By weight, because individually they can't keep up. Phenomenal, disgusting. So it's most likely into the trillions, yeah. Sam is asking, why does the food pyramid say we need meat then? Lots of answers to that question, Sam. There's outdated information, outdated nutritional information as one answer to your question. Another answer to your question is that the meat industry and the dairy industry, milk and the egg industry and these animal product companies, they pay a lot of money to get people who are close to these people who make the food pyramid rules to influence them. It's called lobbying. So they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, euros, pounds every year, probably more even, to try and convince these people to add meat into certain places, or, you know, the government guidelines like keep meat in. It's called lobbying. So that's one of the reasons too. So two main reasons for that. But apparently it's not in Canada anymore. So they've stopped that in Canada, Peter. That's awesome, mate. It's pretty crazy that it happens, is it not? Mental. David, did you talk to Wayne Chung about the XC's and factory farming and Sonoma campaign as animal killers on the website? No, I don't. I'm not sure about that. I think we spoke about it briefly. You mentioned it briefly in one of the previous streams, but no. I haven't got around to figuring. I don't exactly remember. You'll have to maybe drop me a DM or an email. Sorry if you have already, but I'll try and keep up this time. Well, we're going on, guys. What are you guys talking about? I don't know what a thug shake is still. You're gonna have to clue me in on that. I'm a bit older than you guys, I guess. Right, ask some questions, guys. I'm sat here. You guys are just having an absolute blast in the chat, but I see there's 49% of you here that are not vegan. So I want to say again, guys, thank you for being here, and you are welcome to be here. Let me make that clear. I'm a vegan. This is a vegan channel. The people who are not vegan, I want you here. You are welcome here. You're part of this whole thing. I want to talk to you. I want you to engage. I want you to have a good time on this channel. Okay, you are welcome. So if you like that, if you like being part of all this and being involved and being welcomed to the channel, subscribe. Guys, you could subscribe and then you'll get my videos in the future and you can stick around. You can see what kind of conversations we're having here in the vegan world, because I mean, a lot of you guys are not vegan, so I'm answering you and you can see what kind of answers come around. Sometimes there's some crazy stuff, you know. We've not had anything too crazy today, but stick around. It gets crazy sometimes. People say some wild things here in the live chat to vegans. It's pretty insane, actually, and a lot of fun. So stick around. The 49% of you, and obviously the rest of you who are vegan, obviously you guys stick around too, please, and chat with the people in the chat. Let me know if I miss anything, right? Remember, put my name in the live chat, okay? If you put my name in, David Rams, it comes up orange and I'll spot it. So if you want to ask me a question, like Deadly Bullet just did just now, then do it that way and I'll be able to get back to you. And if you want to support me, use a super chat or use the pinned comment, the link in the pinned comment. And then I'll definitely answer you if you do that, all right? Because I get a notification for that. Deadly Bullet saying, would you say it's okay to kill and eat animals if I'm in jungle and I have to survive and there's no fruits? Deadly Bullet, that's like asking, what about if I ask you, Deadly Bullet, is it okay if I kill and eat another human if I'm in the jungle and I can't survive and there's no fruit? What do you think? I'd like you to answer that question. Dear David, just I'm not vegan, but if I keep thug shaking, sooner or later I'll change my habits with meat and become vegan. Cool, well, we'll keep, if that's what you need to do, then yeah, do that. Add to cart is saying, how did you gain weight? You used to be skinnier. I ate a lot. I just started eating a lot and I'm training a lot. Everything improved. I got stronger as well, and I gained weight at the same time as getting stronger. I realized I wasn't eating enough calories while I was training, so I upped my calories, 3,000 calories, upped my protein, 150 to 200 grams of protein a day, and yeah, the weight came on, and it's mostly muscle, with some fat, but mostly muscle. That's how I did it. Really simple stuff, but use Chronometer to track your calories and make sure you're actually eating enough. That's my main advice there. Strange Harper's asking, where can I get this cool shirt? This t-shirt you can get on my website, davidrams.com. It says Justice for Animals at the bottom. It's got some cool stuff on the back as well. Go to davidrams.com, pick one up. You'll be supporting me and you got a cool t-shirt, so that's awesome. RMO1 is asking, what made you want to become vegan? Well, the reason I'm vegan now is that I am against animal cruelty. I'm against hurting animals. And being a vegan is the best way I can try and do that, right? I can try and live like that. Because if I'm not vegan, then I'm paying for meat, I'm paying for milk and dairy and cheese, I'm paying for eggs, I'm paying for all like leather, fur, all these different types of things, all these animal products. And they're all coming from horrific violence and cruelty to animals, all of it. Okay, guys? I've been in these farms, I've been and seen it myself, been there myself, I've seen documentaries, I've spoken to farmers, I've been on farming websites, I know what they do, I know how they do it, and it is all horrific across the board, guys, across the board. It's all cruel, it's all violent to animals, and I'm against violence to animals, I'm against cruelty to animals. So yeah, it's an imperfect world, and it's difficult to live without causing some kind of problem to animals, but step one is being a vegan. Step one is saying, okay, well, I'm not going to buy any more meat, dairy, eggs. I'm not going to pay for any of that. I'm going to not buy any leather. I'm not going to buy anything that's been tested on animals. I'm not going to go and see a bullfight. I'm not going to go and see, any of these things, right? That's what being a vegan is. That's why I'm a vegan. Simple as that. Hope that answers your question. Someone put, did you cry when Tash rejected you? What a strange comment. All right, what else we got? Why honey? Why not honey? Why don't vegans eat honey? The honey industry is basically like the dairy industry, the milk industry. It's a very similar setup. They use artificial insemination on bees. There's videos of it. If you don't believe me, just Google it. Artificial insemination bees. It's crazy, disgusting. And at the end of every bee season, when they finish with them, they burn them all, they kill them all, because it's cheaper to kill them and buy new bees. It's just anywhere where there's an animal product, you can guarantee there has been some animal cruelty, and if not all the way through, if not all the way through, at some point, 100%. Okay, this is how it works with these animal product industries. You can't take things from an animal without keeping them in some form of captivity, without mutilating their bodies in some way, or slitting their throats and shooting them or gassing them, and all these horrible things that they do to animals. Mark, thank you so much for the $10 donation, mate. Awesome work, David. Thank you. Are you familiar with the YouTube channel Vegan Linked? He's doing great work. Yeah, yes, absolutely. We were going to do an interview at some point, I think, but yeah, I know the dude. Yeah. Leo says he's making that up. What am I making up, Leo? Sorry. Anything that I'm saying right now, I can literally prove. So you don't want to play that game, Leo, unless you're absolutely confident you can prove me wrong. You won't be able to, because I have all of the we're on YouTube, and I have all of the evidence of what I'm saying on YouTube. I can go and get the links to everything, and you can go and watch it right now. So whatever you're about to accuse me of lying about, make sure you know your stuff, man, okay? I'm happy to hear it, by the way. If I have something wrong, genuinely, I would be happy to hear it and to figure it out where I went wrong. But in what I've said so far, there's nothing that I've said that's been wrong. I'm sure of it. But again, if you got something that needs to be corrected, then let me know. Oh, I own a bee farm. We don't do that here. I don't artificially inseminate or kill them. So you have what? You have some kind of like boutique little farm or something like that? We're talking about the honey industry. There are people who have chickens in their gardens that don't do all of the things that I've just described that the egg industry does. But that doesn't mean that the egg industry is not doing those things. In the same way, what you're doing, the industrial honey industry does do all of those things to bees. So, yeah, you might not do it. And there's always, look, when you talk about what I'm talking about is standard industry practices. There's always going to be some individual farmer who says, well, I don't do it the same way as them. Okay, you don't do it the same way as them. But that's the way the majority does it. That's how it's going. And even though you don't do it the exact same way as them, you're still, especially when it comes to like cows, pigs, chickens, etc., you're still killing them. You're still mutilating their bodies. You're still doing all these things to them. You're just not doing it the same way that the industry does it, right? Leo, you're just lying. I make millions a year off it. Your generalization doesn't include millions of farms. It isn't standard. It's a megacorp. I'm calling BS at this point, and unfortunately, this is something. Unless Leo, unless you want to actually out yourself here, share a link or share the name. Not a link. You can't put links here, but share the name of your farm. Then let's go share your full name and the name of your farm, and we can go research you. If you don't do that, then I'm going to assume that you're just chatting nonsense. So, okay, because you're claiming to me now we've got a multi-millionaire beekeeper in the live chat of a random vegan YouTube channel. Finding that hard to swallow, mate. So give us your full name, give us your farm, Leo, and let's see if you're chatting nonsense or not. But anyway, and let's keep on going anyway. I'll tell you what. Let's assume that this Leo guy is telling the truth, that he's got this multi-million dollar beekeeper. He's a multi-billion-dollar beekeeper, multi-millionaire beekeeper who made all his money from the honey. Okay, and let's assume that he's doing it in some amazing, beautiful way that no one else has figured out. Okay, he's figured it out though. Okay, and he's doing it in this amazing, beautiful way. He's still taking this honey from bees. The bees need the honey; it's their food, right? And I would assume he's replacing the honey with sugar water or something like that, which lacks the nutrients. So the bees' health is still being impacted by what he's doing. And he's still impacting their health in order to make profit. Okay? But anyway, and let's imagine there's a magical way. There's a magical way. Like, he's only collecting the honey itself. That's the only way this could ever work is if he is literally just collecting honey from some place that the bees don't want. They make the honey, and then the honey just appears somewhere, and they leave some excess for him. They're like, oh, here, you can take this, we don't want that. In that case, I don't even see a problem, to be honest with you. I don't really care. That's not happening. We know it's not happening. He's not a multi-millionaire beekeeper, and he's still not given his full name and his information, because it's nonsense. But anyway, we got to the bottom of it. Okay, come on. Where is it? No, we're not going to bomb your reviews, Leo. You're claiming you... Wait a minute, what? I only take surplus collected from my garden. Wait, you're a multi-millionaire beekeeper and you just from your garden? Complete and utter nonsense. Anyway, let's just move on. Like, why would you engage? This is now, I've made a mistake here. Why would I engage and take someone seriously who's made up a magical fairyland tale about them getting honey from bees without at all harming the bees whatsoever and making millions from it, and they actually have like a massive industrial... Yeah, okay, sure, mate. Multi-millionaire beekeeper makes sense, yeah. Let's move on. MVDS says, big tip, thank you, says, disagree with the crop death answer. I'm not convinced that a human is worth killing small animals for. However, crop deaths are accidents. Accidents are tragic, but murder is wrong. Preventing accidents is a worthy goal. No murder is an imperative. I'm not sure where we agree there, mate, because I'm not saying it's worth it. I'm not saying like, oh, we can just go and kill animals because we've got no choice. No, I'm saying the only way you're going to improve the crop production industries is if you can get people on board with improving crop production. You're not going to get people on board with that before you before you get rid of animal agriculture. You're not going to get people to care about mice in the crop field before they care about people stabbing pigs, cows, and chickens, what they're paying for that directly. So I'm not sure where we disagree, to be honest with you. I don't want anyone killing animals, but currently we have no choice. In terms of crops, you have to support the crop industry, and the crop farmers are not vegan, and they don't care about this kind of stuff because most people don't care about it, and it's most people that pay their wages, not us. And we've got to eat something, so we choose crops instead of choosing meat, dairy, and egg industries, where when you vote with your money, you literally pay someone to kill animals, and there's no other way. Whereas with crops, you're paying someone to grow a vegetable, and that industry can be improved, right? We have to improve it. I was saying that earlier, we have to improve it. So I'm not sure where the disagreement comes in. But anyway, I still appreciate your support, and we're on the same page. I agree with your comment. And, okay, sweet, yeah. What happened to the chat? I missed some chats here. Let's keep going. What about hunting? This is Megacorp. The animal is used entirely. What about hunting? Literally, with hunting, you're going out and killing animals. What do you mean, what about it? Don't go out and kill animals. Simple. Why would you go out and kill animals? It's violence. It's going out and doing violence to animals for sport and do you want to eat them, right? Are you trying to ask me if I see hunting as better than factory farming? It's not a relevant question, because if you did believe that and you wanted everybody to start hunting, there'd be no animals left within days, within probably even hours. If everyone on the planet decided to go out and hunt, we'd hunt them into extinction. We'd hunt ourselves into extinction. So no, that's not. If you believe that, that's not feasible. So yeah, I guess that answers your question. What do I think about hunting? All right. Thug shakes are coming up again, apparently. I still don't know what that is. This person's made me say it multiple times now. Is it some like really weird thing? I'm going to go find out. Oh, it's okay. Okay. I just read what it is. You guys can Google it if you want. I'm not going to read that out though. Oh, you were being. I didn't see your comment, leprosy. I was being serious. What are some other substitutes for honey? If you're just wanting something that tastes like honey, you can do agave syrup. Agave syrup would do the job. If you're wanting some kind of perceived health benefit, I don't even know what health benefits honey's supposed to have, to be honest with you. But if you just want the flavor, some kind of sweet, gooey thing, just go for agave. Just agave syrup. Animals eat other animals. Why can't we humans eat animals? Well, I saw someone made this. I saw someone, my friend George Martin. He runs a channel called Carnism Debunked, and he said the other day he made a post. Someone said the same thing. They said, "Hey, animals eat other animals. Why can't we humans eat other animals too?" And he said, "Animals walk around children naked. So why can't we walk around children naked?" And that's kind of what you're saying, which is kind of funny when you think about it, right? Really think about it. Because if you're saying animal behavior is this, so why can't I do the same behavior? Well, dogs walk around naked. Dogs expose themselves. They sit back with their legs open and stuff. They do it in front of children. So does that mean you can lie back and expose yourself? Is that, the logic doesn't make sense, right? You see what I'm getting at? I wouldn't look to other animals as your behavioral cues. I wouldn't say, hey, look, I like the way that dog licks that other dog's bum. I'm going to start going out and trying to lick the bums of strangers. Like, I wouldn't recommend that, to be honest with you. I mean, you could use animals as your thing and like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to be just like animals. I'm going to try and lick bums like this dog and just go to strangers and be like, hello, sniff, sniff, lick, lick. You could do that if you want. See what I'm saying? See what I'm getting at? The logic's not very good. Oh, look, see, now we're finding out the truth about Leo. You see, he was a troll all along. Damn. Should never have taken the millionaire beekeeper seriously. What a loser. Oh, no, I shouldn't have called you a loser, Leo. I'm sorry. I take that back. We're not here for name calling, okay? I'm trying to be chill. No, let's not do that. Apologize, Leo. But you're being a little bit silly saying that comment there, aren't you? He says I've got children's bits on my mind, when I already explained that it was my good friend George Martin who made that comment, not me. So yeah, it kind of messes up your flow there, doesn't it? You go on Twitter, go on his Twitter, Carnism Debunked, and it's there. It's from yesterday, I think, actually. So good try though, good try. Yeah, no, you're not, mate. You're not a millionaire beekeeper. Anyway, we're moving on from the liar. Let's just keep going. Oh, my goodness. See, liar's not name-calling because you actually are lying, though. So that's fine. I'll leave that one there. All right, what else do we got, guys? Put my name in the chat, and I'll answer your question. Matt says, can you answer a question? That's a question. Yes, I answered your question. There you go. Andrew says, your logic is flawed. You rather talk about sniffing dog butts rather than the fact more animals are killed from commercial vegetable farming than any other type of food. Oh, man. It's the same stuff. It's just the same. I'm trying, guys. It's exhausting. Andrew, I'm not meaning to like insult you here, bro, but like, listen up, man. That's not true. The most plants are grown to feed animals. For animal feed, okay? That's number one. The second most crops are grown to feed non-vegans, okay? And then after that, it would probably be vegetarians. And then after that, it would be vegans, because vegans only make up less than 1% of the world population, if that, okay? So, no, it's wrong. What you're saying is wrong. Trying to put it down to the vegans are responsible for animals killed in vegetable farming or crop farming and saying that's the most, it doesn't make any sense. Again, 80 billion animals, they need to eat crops. They feed them, they grow the crops for them. That's how it works. That's where most crop production goes. And if you believe that there is a lot of death in crop production, which, by the way, there's no proof of, FYI, the numbers are inflated. But anyway, if we just assume that's correct, it's in crop production for animals where you're going to see it, not crop production for humans, and especially not crop production for vegans. That doesn't make any sense. Do I have any resources for anyone who's interested in becoming a vegan? I've been veggie for a while now. Absolutely, Melissa. Go to www.challenge22.com. Challenge22.com. You can get there free support, advice, recipes. Just sign up. It's awesome. Go and give that a go. Highly recommend it. Also, you could put in YouTube. You could put in YouTube, how do I go vegan? And you'll find some pretty cool videos there as well, I'm sure. But Challenge 22 is especially good because it's real people, qualified people, and they're ready to help you, support you, give you recipes and all that good stuff. And you can ask questions and stuff like that. And it's all a very safe environment as well. You can ask any question anytime, and they're all really helpful. So I recommend you go for that. Matt's asking, could you answer my question, please? I answered your question. You asked me if I would answer a question. I answered. Oh, no, it's here. Can you explain why you support cobalt mining? I guess I'm going to get timeout so people can ignore the truth. Where have I said that I support cobalt mining? Did I say I support cobalt? Where did that come up? Yeah, I don't know. Why are you bringing up a human rights issue in a discussion about animal rights? That's another good question. I suppose, are you getting it like cobalt mining because I'm using a laptop? Is that what you're going for? Well, you're also using a laptop or a phone, so you also support cobalt mining, right? So why do you support it? Yeah, sure. Let's see. Matt, you can answer my question, right? Why do you support it? And also, I guess where you're trying to take the road, if I'm gonna predict where you're going with this, I'm predicting you're going down the road of because cobalt mining hurts humans, and humans work for bad conditions and they don't get paid a lot, and all this kind of stuff, right? And then therefore, because I am somehow paying into that system, that I'm a hypocrite for being a vegan who speaks about animals. That's where you're going with that. The thing is though, mate, you're not a vegan and you support cobalt mining. So for you to criticize me, the way I live, while you are doing worse things and the same as me, that doesn't make sense. So now if another vegan came along and said to me, David, I don't support this thing that you do support, and as vegans, like I just feel like I wanna convince you, then I would say, yeah, I'm all ears. Convince me and let's figure out how we can. But when somebody tries to use that as an attack on a vegan when they themselves don't care about the topic at all and also aren't vegan, it's a defense mechanism, mate, isn't it? You know? And it's all it is. It's a defense mechanism. And that's fine. Like we already said that earlier on. Reactions are fine. Defense mechanisms are fine. It's just what it is. But you want to try and do your best to control your defense mechanisms. You want to do your best to actually think, okay, why am I trying to ask the vegan why if he supports cobalt mining or not? Like, what's my goal here? My goal here is to try and make out that he's a hypocrite so that I don't have to change. Usually that's kind of the reason it's going down that road, you know? Yeah, Matt, you say you're curious. I know. I'm just talking you through it, mate. That's all. I'm talking you through it. Because it comes up quite a lot. Or not quite a lot. These days, not really so much. But people, the second they hear a vegan talking about animal rights, they want to bring up human rights. And they want to try and make out that the vegan's a hypocrite on human rights to make themselves feel better for what they do to animals. But they themselves are also doing the same thing to humans too. See what I'm getting at? It's a really common thing. But we definitely need to... As people, we need to work on that. And all of us, we need to work on our reactions and try and figure out, try not to fall into these kind. It's called fallacious thinking. It's a fallacy. It's it's a mistake. It usually is it's illogical. Someone said, "Hi David, you're very inspirational to me. If an idiot like you has a channel, everyone can." Well, whatever I inspire people to do, inspiring you to start a channel. Hey, hey, that's awesome. Good for you. Start a channel then. Just say, make a channel about nice things though. Don't do anything nasty. Only listen to vegans that will make you hear one side. You got this. If hearts were farts, you would have a ton of shit, man. No, Todd. So what you're missing here, mate, is you got it all wrong, okay? So no, you don't only listen to vegans because they're the only ones with good points. No. When someone's criticizing you from a place where they themselves are only criticizing you because they feel bad about what you've said to them, that's not somebody you should listen to. But when it comes to a vegan who's criticizing you on a topic, then you can take them a little bit more seriously, because they're not just upset because you're a vegan and you've said that they shouldn't hurt animals, which upsets people for some reason. You're more likely you could take them a little bit more seriously because they're not just a defense mechanism going. You know what I mean? That's all. But that's not on every topic. Vegans are wrong on a lot of things. Not when it comes to vegan stuff, but I've met all sorts of vegans who've had all sorts of opinions that I don't agree with. Yeah, and I've met all sorts of people who aren't vegan who have opinions I do agree with. It's just in this specific case, when a vegan's making an argument to go vegan and the person starts responding with human rights problems, they're only doing that because they want to try and make out the vegan's a hypocrite, you see? That's the point. Ben, nice. Thanks for the super chat, mate. David, nice to see you. Vegan for 5 years. But predator culling is something we need to address, and so far most vegans are being disingenuous by not being willing to even discuss. Prey animals matter. Yeah, Ben, if you want to make that your thing, man, go ahead and make that your thing. No worries. Cheers for the support, mate. MVDS says, I'm way behind in the stream, sorry. It is mainly the vegans must eat something so it is fine part that doesn't convince me. Vegans are the least responsible for crop deaths, but if it was murder, I'm not sure I could live with it. Well, I didn't say it's fine, I don't think, MVDS. Apologies if it came off as fine. I meant it as it's something we don't have a choice in. We don't currently have a choice. We have to buy vegetables, right? And we can't really improve that industry until because the majority of that industry is not funded by vegans. So to expect vegans to have an impact on that industry is it's tricky, right? At this point, what we need to do, first of all, we need to, in my opinion, why I'm here on YouTube and why I'm doing this work in general is that I want people the world over to view animals not as they view them as just meaningless kind of things, resources. Unless they're a dog or a pet, they really just see them as nothing, right? As like a means to an end. But the thing is, there is no difference in your animal that you love at home and you give a name is an individual with a personality, and they think and feel, and they feel fear, and they suffer, and they can be, they feel all different levels of pain, psychological, physical, everything. But so do all these other animals that we're farming and killing. All of them have the same, right? And if you gave them a chance, you'd see that. With a dog, it's easy to see because a dog looks you in the eye and they know you and they can make you feel something for them because they've evolved that way because they spent time with humans. Whereas cows, pigs, chickens, and the other farmed animals, they don't have that skill. They've not evolved that. So they don't have ways to show you and to make you feel something for them. But if you spend time with them, you start to learn their language and how they actually do communicate. And then you can see that they are an individual personality, just like your dog at home. So my goal is to have people realize this. And I think once we realize this and once people have made that click that, wait a minute, it doesn't matter if I can't see them. It doesn't matter if they're out of sight. And it doesn't matter if I don't understand them the same way I understand my dog. I don't want them to be hurt and killed. And I don't want them to go through cruel. Once people make that switch and flip their minds around to realize this, we'll have a very different world in our hands. And animal agriculture, the meat companies, the egg companies, the milk companies, these companies, they're going to go out of business very quickly because people are going to suddenly realize, wait a minute, no, this is all wrong. Just like they're already doing that. More and more countries are banning the dog meat companies. The dog meat industry is getting banned because people in these countries, they previously didn't really care about dogs. Now they do care more about dogs. And the people who care more about dogs are having an impact in those countries, which is great, isn't it? Can we all agree that's great? Vegan or not? I see a lot of you in here are not vegan, 45%. You guys who aren't vegan, do you agree with me that it's great that a lot of countries around the world are banning dog meat? And a lot of dogs are getting rescued from the dog meat trades in these countries now. Yes, that's a good thing. Why is that happening? Because people, they see dogs, they see that dogs are, the personality, the individual, they want to rescue them. They want to save them from the fear and the violence and all the pain. They want to save them from that, right? I want people to take that same strength they have. They look at a dog, I'm going to save you. I don't want this to happen to you. And I want them to see all the other animals the same way. Because they are the same. Cows, pigs, chickens, all these other farmed animals, in the ways that matter, they're the same as a dog. And so what if they have feathers? Or so what if they're not as friendly as a dog is? So what if they don't look you in the eye and look for your affection like a dog does? So what? So this is what I'm trying to do. And then, I think once people have this, a lot of things will just fall into place, with these industries. A lot of them are just going to go out. I can't remember how we got to that, this discussion just now. I can't remember where we began there, but yeah. And so you guys agree when it comes to dogs, don't you? I saw a couple people saying yes in the chat. Deadly Bullet, I already asked you this, dude. Deadly Bullet's asking again, would you say if it's okay to kill and eat animals if I'm in a jungle and have to eat to survive? Again, Deadly Bullet, if you had a plane crash and the only thing to eat was a dead human that landed with you, and would you eat them? Was it okay to eat them? That answers your question. Race is asking, do you look into the eyes of the potatoes you eat? I do, as I drive the knife in. Yes, of course. Yeah. Guys, put my name in if you're asking questions, because I just get a wall of text, you see, and so it's hard for me to keep up if you don't put my name in. You see, because the chat moves really quick. But yeah, put my name in, and I'll try and get round to your questions. Kurt is claiming the reasons dog meat is being phased out is because it's very risky to eat, lots of diseases passed to humans. It's not a virtue thing. No, that's not true, Kurt. It's thanks to the work of animal rights organizations out in these countries who've been working extremely hard to get some of these things passed and the policies passed. Now, it could be the case that they did use some things like that to get it across the line, but it was coming from a place of ethics and virtue, actually, because it's the right thing to do. Ray says, I'm going to put your name only when it's not a question. Nice one. Brilliant. Cats Alive is asking, how long you been vegan for? I've been vegan for about 14, 15 years, and I was born and raised as a vegetarian. Cheers for the question. Follow up if you'd like to. Tui so suiso, what is this? People, you're saying I'm ignoring legitimate questions. Your thing's not a question. You're just making a statement. People say eating meat is natural because animals do it. Vegans counter that animals also grape, so should we? Why not eat grapist animals then? Are you protecting grapists? That is not a good question. It's a silly question, to be totally honest with you. It makes absolutely no sense. I can't answer it because it doesn't make sense as a question, which is why I didn't originally answer it, because I glanced at it and it didn't make sense the first time, and then you said I'm not answering questions and posted it again, and it doesn't make sense the second time. So you'll have to maybe make that question make more sense if you want me to try and answer it, because it doesn't make any bloody sense. Oh my goodness, man. These streams always surprise me, the lengths. This is the people who joined earlier. I told you that there might be some fun stuff coming later. This is the kind of stuff we get. This is where it gets interesting and funny. Zane says, the beard you and I share shows the blood of our people spilled throughout time, and the runes you have tattooed are also an indication of blood spilled. Is that what it means? Is that what it signifies? The blood spilled of our ancestors? Cool. Majestic Mythology asks, do you not think that it all comes down to choice? We have dominion over farmed animals that are made for food. Two kind of points to your questions there. Two things to go into. One, do I think it all comes down to choice? Yeah, of course it does. Currently, yeah. Why would you choose the violent ways? Why would you choose to pay people to breed and mutilate and kill animals when you could choose to fund vegetable farming instead and eat plants instead, right? Why would you choose to go and pay for all these horrors? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a choice, but why are you choosing this horrible choice? And second, we have dominion over farmed animals that are made for food. Well, if you believe that, and I guess that's coming from a biblical place, you're a Christian or something, your parents have dominion over you. You see where I'm going with this? Does that mean they can do all these things to you? Well, no. Dominion means responsibility. It means stewardship. You're a steward for those weaker than you. That's what being given dominion over the weak does, right? If someone becomes a king and he has dominion over the land, that doesn't mean he can just turn his people into like farm humans, does it? He's not going to farm humans. Dominion's not. It's not ownership and do what you want. It's stewardship and responsibility. So if you truly believe in having dominion over animals, well, oh my God, did you guys hear that? That was the craziest thunder. The room shook. Did you guys hear that? That was crazy. Anyway, yeah, dominion doesn't mean that. I was like, that was weird timing. That was weird timing. God's like excited. He's like, hell yeah, this is what I was talking about all this time. How did they get it so wrong? He's like, come on, man, tell them. Very cool. Veggie Ships, thank you for the super chat. If you're against animal abuse, press the like button. Oh, nice. Can I click the like button? I didn't know you could like super chats until just this moment. That's very cool. Cheers for that. Appreciate it. Leprosy says, very, very fun. Yes, very fun live streams from chickens to thug shakes and then bees. Definitely going to tune in for next live stream. Cool, Leprosy. You're very welcome to be here, mate. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss our next stream. Watchdog's saying, I tried buying a t-shirt. He's saying it's too expensive to be shipped to. Yeah, because they're made in the UK, mate. So that's probably why it's a little bit expensive to ship them from the UK to the USA. But yeah, if you're ever in the UK, maybe you could get it to a UK address. It's a lot cheaper. All right, keep on giving me questions, guys. I'm trying to keep up with you. Cats Are Life is saying, can I eat egg if the pet's eggs? So if your pet chicken has eggs, the thing is with pet chickens that you might have in your home is the way that they've been bred, the way that farmers have created them is they lay too many eggs for their bodies to keep up with. So they can get sick and they get unhealthy very quickly because laying eggs takes a lot of nutrients from their bodies. They're only supposed to lay 12 a year, but they're laying 50 or more even. So the best thing you can do for a pet chicken to keep them healthy is to feed the egg back to them, actually. You can crush it up. You can get, some people feed the shells back, some people take the egg out of the shell, whatever. But you can crush it up if you want with the shell and with oatmeal. Some people even mix it all together with oatmeal, put it down for them, and then eat it. And it can help them stay healthier because the last thing you want to do is they've already got all these health issues from the way that the farmers have made them. The last thing you want to do is make those worse, right? So instead of eating their eggs, feed their eggs back to them is what I'd recommend. 13 the Confused says, I've asked a few questions prior. There might be statements, but so. Can you check back a while ago? Is it possible, 13? Could you copy paste them? Because I mean, I'm scrolling up now, mate, and I've gone quite a way and I still don't see. Oh wait, I got one of yours here. I'll answer this. Do you believe that a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle would also be as beneficial as veganism? Both prevent overeating, obesity, and constant overhunting. A healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle. I don't get what you mean. So you can be a vegan eating plant-based very healthily with a very healthy lifestyle. So you would choose that. That's what I would say to do, and that would help prevent overeating, obesity, and it would stop hunting as well by eating plant-based, healthy, with a healthy lifestyle. So maybe you can elaborate on that, what you were trying to say. I'm not sure 100%. Daniel's asking, what's the best way to show that the vegan way is normal? Best way, mate, is... Look, what we need is... Obviously, we need people to speak up for animals and to put this on the table, but we also need a lot of people who just go vegan and just... They're vegans, right? And you got vegans at work, you got vegans in the supermarket, you got vegans in the hospitals, working in the hospitals, you got vegan bin men doing your bins, you got vegan... I don't know, vegan everyone. You need a lot of just average, regular, everyday people who go vegan because they say, hey, do you know what? I don't want to do this stuff to animals anymore. So we need that, I think, for sure. Not just people like me. We also need people who just have normal lives and just are vegans. But yeah, that's how do we get there, I guess is what you're asking. How do we get there? Well, we've still got to do a lot of this kind of work and talking to people and having these discussions and doing as much as we can to kind of raise the problem and show people the truth. That's a huge part of it. Huge part of it is trying to get the information out to people and undo a lot of these bad things that people have got put in their minds when it comes to animals, and make people realize the animal that you love at home, you love them for all these reasons. These animals in the farms, they're as lovable, as much of individual personalities as the animal you have in your home. They feel the fear the same, they have pain the same, they suffer the same, they have all the same things that we value in our animal at home, yet they're treated this badly, and their only purpose in life is to be mutilated and killed. It's messed up, and it's on such a big scale. There's no words to even describe how truly horrifying it is. So this is the number one priority. How do we get that message out to as many people as possible in an effective way? That's what we've got to do, Daniel. Thanks for the question, mate. Okay, Deadly Bullet says, I think it's okay to eat human bodies if a plane crashed and there is nothing to eat, so I think it's okay to eat animals if there is nothing to eat in the jungle. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. If you're ever in that position, who could judge you? If you were in a survival situation and you ate a human, who could judge you for that? You did what you needed to do. If you were in a similar horrible situation and you ate an animal, again, who could judge you? You did what you had to do. But when we're discussing today, you guys who are in my live chat, just like, oh yeah, stuck in a jungle, no food, really suffering out here, send. No, I don't think so. If you had Wi-Fi or mobile data, you're probably going to be all right, you see. So that's it. The reason I'm saying that is you bring that up, it doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying, man? Because we're not in that position, are we? Right? What else we got? Guys, put my name in and I'll answer you. Tui Susiso says, David doesn't think chickens deserve a vegan diet. He'd rather feed them their own offspring, which is like serving aborted fetuses as food. Oh my good God. No, it isn't. They're unfertilized eggs. They're not aborted fetuses. Unfertilized. You understand the difference between fertilized and unfertilized? There's nothing wrong with feeding a chicken an unfertilized egg. You were in the were you in the live stream chat of Mel and Steve when they were feeding the chickens their eggs? Were you the one saying that? Man, that was silly. That's fun. Again, guys, this is some of the fun you were waiting for. This is it. This is the fun you were waiting for. Hope you're enjoying it. Carriad is getting frustrated because I read other people's messages but not theirs. I don't see your messages, mate. Put it again. Put my name. As I've said, if you put my name, then it pops up for me and I can see it. Right? Why promote that instead of a strict vegan diet for the chicken? Because there's nothing wrong with feeding a chicken their own egg. There's no harm done to anybody. There's no harm. There's no violation of anybody's body or anybody's rights. There's nothing wrong with giving a chicken their own egg back, and it helps the chicken that way. But if you eat it, you're harming the chicken because the chicken needs those nutrients back. So just give the chicken their own egg back that they're only laying because farmers messed up their bodies and made them lay so many eggs. Simple. David Bayless says, do you think I'm psycho because I hunt deer? Psycho is a strong word. It depends on your justifications, I suppose. I think it's horrible that you hunt deer. I think that you might be a good person doing a horrible thing because you've convinced yourself it's a good thing. I think that if we had a sit down conversation and you told me stuff like, I just like watching the life leave the deer, I get excited when I see the deer in pain, well then that's a different conversation. I don't know if psycho would be the right word. I mean, I call you something, but if it's that you've convinced yourself this is okay, again, you know, that deer, it's horrible what you're doing to these animals. Honestly, it's violent. They're innocent and they can't do anything to protect themselves against you. You come in there with a high-powered rifle, you sneak up on them, and you shoot at them. These are animals that have like the same kind of cognitive ability or the same understanding of the world around them. It's as simplistic as, you know, like a human child would have. You shoot the gun. They don't know what the gun is. They don't know what a gun is. You see videos of deer coming over and sniffing the gun. I've seen these videos, you know. That's how kind of simplistic they are and the level of understanding they have, and you take advantage of that. So it's pretty horrifying on multiple levels. But whether I'd call you a psycho or not would depend on some other stuff, I guess. As I said, though, you know, I said what you're doing is truly horrifying and violent. Okay. No, my... oh my God. Annie, time this guy out, will you? No, it's too late. He's already spammed. But anyway, he's asking if my clothes come from wool. He said, is my t-shirt fully synthetic or harvested from wool? Guys, shocking one here for you guys. A shocker. He spammed it about 20 times, right? As if he had a point. Shocker. No, most t-shirts actually are probably 99.9% of t-shirts not made from wool. Actually, t-shirts made from wool, the only ones you'll get are these kind of hiking ones and stuff like that. But like practically every t-shirt you buy that has some kind of printed stuff on it, it's synthetic. Yeah, of course it's synthetic. Oh my goodness. Right, I've answered a few questions from the same people. I'd like to answer some questions from some new people. Guys, if you've not answered a question yet, pop a question in and let's see what's going on. We've got 44% of you here are not vegan. So guys, if you're not vegan, you've not asked a question yet, ask a question. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm not going to talk to the people I recognize who are also, some of them just trying to like waste time. And some of these people, by the way, are regulars. For those who are new to the stream and new to the vegan world, you'll see there are some regulars that pop up in the vegan streams, and what they try and do is they try and chew up time because they get a kick out of it. So I'm going to start avoiding some of these names now. Gives you guys a chance to ask some questions. Marcus, thank you for the super chat, mate. We have the technology to produce vegan food. Yeah. Okay, Marcus, that's 1 of 7. Are you doing 7? Okay, cool. Well, that's number 1. We'll wait for the rest. JK asks, what's so bad about dairy? Thank you for asking an interesting question, JK. So the dairy industry, mate. The dairy industry all begins with the female cow. The farmer will get her, put her in this big metal machine so she can't move, right? She'll be trapped in by her neck and stuck in this machine, or chained up, depending on what kind of farm it is. Then he'll get a glove on his arm and he'll shove his hand inside her ass up to his elbow. And he's doing that to try and find her cervix and move it, lift it, so he can put a needle in her vagina and inject her with bull semen. This is the beginning of how they get milk, right? Because they have to get her pregnant. Then she's pregnant, she has the calf, and then she starts making milk. Now, what do you think happens with the calf? Well, if the calf is a boy, they just send that calf to the slaughterhouse. He's killed as a baby. If the calf is a female girl, they do the same thing when she's older. They do the same thing to her that they've just done to her mum. So what do they do with the mum now? What do they do with this cow? So she's making milk, so they milk her. And then when the milk starts slowing down again, they have her on a cycle. So they get her pregnant again, and then they milk her, take the baby, milk, get her pregnant, take the baby, milk. They do this over and over and over again until she's older or sick or too frail or not making much milk anymore. Then they sell her off to the slaughterhouse and she'll be shot in the head and she'll be killed. So this is what they do in the dairy industry. This is how the industry works. Okay, so that's what's wrong with dairy as a start, right? Absolutely horrific, the dairy industry. A lot of people will try and lie and claim they don't do these things. The thing is, they have to do these things because the cows have to be pregnant to make enough milk to make the dairy company profitable. They have to make money, okay? So they'll keep on getting the cow pregnant and they're going to keep on having more and more cows. So they have to kill the cows, otherwise they'll have too many cows. So it's a necessity of this industry that they have to keep killing cows. In countries where they can't kill the cows, like in India, they just kick them on the street. And that's why when you go to India, in many of the cities, there are cows all over the streets because they've been abandoned. So it's a disgusting industry. This is what's so bad about dairy. So I hope that answers your question. And that's why we don't buy dairy. That's why we don't pay into these industries. They're horrible industries, horrible companies, horrible businesses. Carriad's asking, how do you know all this, David? How do you know this happens in farms? The farmers themselves teach other farmers everything I've just told you. This is not secrets, Carriad. This is how you trade. They train you how to do a dairy farm. You can go to farming websites and look it up yourself. Pretty much any country. This is what they do. You can go on YouTube, how to run a dairy farm. You'll find it right there. So that's one way you can find out. Second way you could find out, you could watch documentary like Dominion, which has the footage of everything. You can go on YouTube and actually watch footage of all of these things right there on YouTube. People have filmed it. I've been in farms and seen it myself as well. They don't hide it. They just hide it from the consumer. What I mean is that they don't put it on the packaging of the product, okay? But it's there if you want to go and see it. They don't tell everybody about it, but it's not like it's deeply hidden. You can just go and find out, okay? So that's how I know, mate. Ben Rodriguez said, I paid you $10 and you blew me off. Ben, I'm sorry, mate. I haven't seen your... Oh, I read it. Oh, yeah, no, I didn't blow you off, bro. I just said, if that's your thing, go for it. You didn't ask me a question. But that's not a topic we get into here on the channel. This is a channel where we're talking to... I mean, look, mate, 44% of the people here aren't vegan. Do you really think this is the best time to bring it up and get into a discussion? Because I don't think so. Marcos is still doing the... you're doing your super chats. I saw you've got your follow-up. Oh, wait, have you got all of them? No. I only have 1, 2, and 3, Marcus. We have the technology to produce vegan food without harming nature or any living creature through intelligent cultivation. Okay? Yep. Oh, we've got 4 now. However, the people behind these industries... Wait for 5, 6, and 7. I'll tell you what, Marcus, you keep going, and I'll read them all once you've finished. I think that's the best way to do it. Cool. You know humans are meant to eat both meat and plants. Some animals kill in worse ways than we do. When you're saying meant to eat, what do you mean in like a religious way, or do you mean in a biology way? Because our biology is omnivorous, which means we can survive on both or either. So there's no reason for you to eat animals and animal products. You can just get the same nutrients from plants. So I don't know what you mean by meant to. And the second part, some animals kill in worse ways than we do. We already kind of went through that. Animals do lots of different things that we don't do. That doesn't mean that we can do them. So if an animal goes and sniffs a stranger's bum, then doesn't mean we go sniff a stranger's bum. If an animal kills another animal, that doesn't mean it's okay for us to kill other animals in better ways. You know what I mean, dude? So yeah, other animals do kill in worse ways, but that doesn't mean we get to kill. And it's fine because animals do it worse. I don't follow the logic there. To be honest with you. Still looking at your questions. Well, not, what a nice beard, says not Timbo. Appreciate it. All right. Do you think AI and robots may one day enforce a vegan world for humans? I do. Rogue AI is coming, is what they say. I hope they stay benevolent and take charge in ways that we vegans can't. I don't know about that. I've not heard anything about that. I'd have to look into it. Interesting though. Marvin's asking, are you vegan? Yes, I am vegan. Indeed. Been vegan for about 14, 15 years. And vegetarian since birth. So vegetarian and then vegan 14, 15 years after that. And still today, of course. Guys, to let you know, after this stream's going to end in about 5 minutes or so, just to let you know. And when it does end, I'm going to be going over to a supporters only stream. So this will be for people who support me and support the channel. So if you are a YouTube member or if you are a Patreon of the channel, you will get access to this stream. It's an exclusive stream. You need to join up. And if you're joining on YouTube, click join up, and then go to my community tab. And then there it is. The link will be right there. If you're not going to do it on YouTube and you want to join on Patreon because you don't want to give YouTube, Google any money, which is fine, do Patreon, then it'll be right there as well at the top of my Patreon. And this is an exclusive stream for people to ask questions, for supporters to have a chat and a little hangout. Also, I'm going to give you a massive update because a lot's happened over the last couple months. So I'll give you a huge update and tell you where I'm going to be going next, what's coming up. Maybe we can meet, maybe we can hang out and do some stuff or whatever, do some actions, do some activism, or just say hello, whatever you want. So stick around, guys. Remember, if you want to get access to that, click the join button now and go to my community tab, or join my Patreon, and then you'll find it there. All right, guys? Okay, Marcus has finished his string of comments, super chats. Thank you, Marcus. We have the technology to produce vegan food without harming nature or any living creature through intelligent cultivation. However, the people behind these industries and the scientists capable of such miracles must have the motivation to do so. Therefore, be vegan now. Yes, I like that, mate. Appreciate it, Marcus. Solid to put it all in 7 super chats. Awesome, man. Love it. My voice is going a little bit. I suppose I've been talking for almost 2 hours, so. Awesome, perfect. So guys, good. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, if you find this interesting, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because I do this relatively regularly when I'm here in one place. So I'll be doing a couple more this month. So if you enjoy it, subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, subscribe so you can hate watch. Either way, if you loved it, cool. If you hated it, hate watch. Very cool. Either way. So hit the join button if you want to come to the next stream, which is starting in about 10 minutes. Or go to my Patreon. Annie's just posted it there in the chat. If you want to come, you can do either or. It'll be right here on YouTube. We'll be hanging out and we'll be updating you guys and doing some cool stuff. Exclusive for my supporters. Exclusive. Cheers for hanging out, guys. I will catch you all in the next one.